What's going on, guys? Welcome to January's episode of Game of the Month, the show where we pick a game at random every month, and at the end of the month, we talk about it. My name's Seth, and joining me today is Chevy. Chevy, it's been a little bit since we've done Plus Club. We did, we did a TLG Reacts. We've done a bunch of stuff lately, so hopefully everybody had a chance to check those out. And also, apologies that this is like 4 days late, this Game of the Month, but I've been on vacation, but we've been pumping out the video, so hopefully you get a chance to check out those videos. But since then, how you doing? And are you ready to talk about Baldur's Gate 3, which is was our game of the month for January, and also to find out what our game of the month for February is?
Yeah, doing pretty good. If you watched our previous episodes, and I won't go too into it, but you know there are a ton of games coming out soon, so the wallet is crying right now. But otherwise, I'm doing pretty good. I am definitely looking forward to see what we're playing next, though I have played Baldur's Gate before this month, I didn't play it this month as much as I would have liked, but I have played it in the past as well. So,
I mean, we played it at the beginning of the month.
We did.
I was quite a bit.
I would like to have sat down and played it a little more, but
yeah. Well, it's been rough.
It didn't work that way. So.
I mean, for instance, this isn't Taste Cast, but like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is out, and I really want to play it. And community member Wade sent me a gift copy of it, which I really appreciate, but I couldn't play it because I haven't finished Like a Dragon. So I sat there and put like 30 hours into Like a Dragon to finally finish it. Finished it. It's fantastic. If you guys haven't played it, check it out. But that was like 30 hours I could have put into Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
So I'm like spread thin right now. But
I hear it.
But I did put a good amount of time into Baldur's Gate 3 this month. But
yeah, you definitely played a lot more than I did.
So we'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm with you there. I'm stoked to talk about Baldur's Gate 3 because having like a more official episode about it will be nice. Also, I'm really excited to find out what our game of the month for February is because I have altered the list and added some more recent and topical games. So yeah, unless you have anything else to say.
One old game.
Which old game? Oh, yeah, we'll get to it. You ready to find out?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're new here, what we do is we spin a wheel and we pick a random game every month that we decide to play throughout the month and talk about it like we're doing right now. And those games on this list, in case you're just listening to us, are, and we've added a couple, so I'll let you guys know. Armored Core 6, Temtem, we've added Enshrouded. World War Z, Baldur's Gate 3 is still on there. If that gets pulled this month, we'll skip it and re-roll because we just did it. But we will play in the future. It's such a big game that I'm okay with coming back to it. Tekken 8, which we've added to add to our fighting game roster of, I think, 2 games that we have so far. Daisy, I've added Helldivers 2 because that's coming out really soon. We're going to be playing it anyway. Age of Empires 4, Remnant 2. Monster Hunter World makes its return. It's been a while since we've played that for the channel, but if that gets pulled, we'll be playing for the channel since it is definitely popping off again. Age of Wonders 4, Party Animals, Pal World has been added because, of course, it's been added. Everybody's playing it, and it'd be a really easy game to talk about. And then Street Fighter 6 is still on the list. Chevy, is there any games on that list that you are hoping for before we roll?
Monster Hunter's had its claws in me all month, so that would be an easy one for me. Though I would take pretty much everything on this list. I don't know if I'm, and I'm going to say this is going to get, I would play it still, but I don't know if I'm in the mood to play Age of Empires 4 as of like recording this, but
yeah,
or Age of Wonders 4, but it would be easy for me to play them if I turned them on. I'm just not in a strategy mindset at the moment.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, I would play those if I like started it up and started playing it, but like as of right now, it's not really what I'm looking to play. So
yeah, I've definitely been playing well, obviously with Monster Hunter, but action games has been kind of my thing right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it's our list anyways of games, so I would take anything.
Yeah, I mean, the games I added are all games I want to play. So if any of those get pulled, I'll be happy because those are all games that I'm kind of spreading myself out, playing all at the same time. But I've put a lot of time into it Enshrouded, so I would like that getting pulled. Tekken 8, I played a good chunk of, but I like to play it more, and I think it'd be kind of a fun social thing to do as a game of the month. Helldivers 2 is coming out, so I'm really hoping that gets pulled because it'd be very convenient because I'm going to be playing it anyway. I would be interested in returning to Monster Hunter World, but I think I need the obligatory push to play it right now, just because I have other games I want to play that are more recent. But yeah, really anything on this list, I think I would be happy with playing. I love World War Z, but I don't know if I would want to play that right now, just because I've played the shit out of it. And there's other games on this list I would like to play like right now. So yeah, that's where I'm at. You ready to spin?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to hit the wheel. It's going to spin. Whatever it lands on, we'll be playing in February. I'm going to click in 3, 2, 1, and go. It is spinning, and we're going to find out what it lands on. A lot of good games here, so I will be happy with almost anything here. And it looks like it's going to be close.
Ooh, that was right on line. That's crazy.
All right, so it landed on the line between Armored Core 6 and Temtem, but just edged over just enough to hit Temtem, which is a Pokemon-like game, which is not the most current Pokemon-like game, but it is one.
Assuming it's still up and running too. I haven't checked in a while, so
Yeah, that'd be weird. We'll have to come right back and re-roll if it's. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's fine.
yeah, I haven't heard anything otherwise, but it would be hilarious for us to visit it and the servers would be dead.
It's just dead.
Yeah. So hopefully that's not the case, and we'll be playing that one.
Yeah, really interesting. I think my curiosity of where the game is even at right now is a stronger feeling than wanting to play it right now, just because I'm not in the mindset to play a Pokemon-like game, as I'm not playing Pal World right now when everybody else is. But I am curious to play it, and I remember liking it back when we first played it, so it'll be cool to revisit it. I hope that they've fixed some of the internet and social things, 'cause I remember there were some weird like connection problems that we had a couple times, and we'll see where it's at now.
If they
So
haven't fixed it since we played it, the game devs have abandoned it.
yeah, true. All right, well, I'm very interested in returning to this. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I'm just surprised how close that was. I thought I was about to go buy Armored Core, so
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool, I can play more Armored Core, but that did not happen. So yeah, let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about Temtem? Are you excited to play it with us this month? And if it's dead, let us know. Let me know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to Temtem. And what are you hoping for on our list coming up? What are you gonna say?
well, I'll say just in case we have to reroll. So
Yeah, I think I'll be fine. I feel like I would have heard about it if it died or something. So, but we'll see. All right, so a game that's definitely not dead that we played in January was Baldur's Gate 3. If you didn't get a chance to play Baldur's Gate 3, it is a top-down CRPG, tactical, turn-based RPG, where you play as somebody who wakes up on a illithid ship that gets a what is it called? Like a parasitic tadpole in your head that does some stuff. This is all right in the beginning of the game, so I'm not trying to spoil anything because there's a lot of story here. And basically, you are set off on a journey trying to find a way to either remove it or harness its power, or just have many, many adventures with every single person that you talk to in this game. The game features, well, if you've played any of the Divinity games, it's a very similar experience, although, in my opinion, better. You click around, or I think on a controller you can use the analog to move around. You find loot, you level up. It's based in D&D, so it follows the same rule set as, fifth edition? Yeah.
with some adjustments.
It's got a heavy emphasis on choice and adventure and story, so basically you will be making choices nonstop that actually have consequences. Turn-based combat, so you are using a party of like 4 and moving them around individually per turn, hitting people, doing buffs, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's an RPG. We both played it, and let's jump into your impressions of it in January.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you watched our Game of the Year episode, this won't be that surprising. But
Yeah.
I love this game. It is absolutely deserves all the praise it gets. The attention to detail is great. It does have some weird stuff from time to time, but it's so easy to overlook because the amount of just like quality and passion that is put into the game really just shines above. So as far as what we played this month, this will be my third or fourth time doing the intro to the game. I can't remember exactly, but my whole point here is, even after doing it so many times, I still enjoy doing the beginning of the game, which is a really good sign for the game itself. And I think a large part of that is between being able to play multiplayer with people and to be able to just make a new character and experience the same thing a different way, whether that's via dialogue or just even the way your character plays.
Or deciding to kill certain people or not.
Yeah, the game has just so much to offer in that regard.
It's kind of amazing too, because like I've done the beginning I think 3 times as well now, and I know people who have also done it like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and there's choices I've made in the first act that people who have played the game a lot never made that choice, and so I got a consequence or something that happened that they didn't get, and that's something that I really kind of miss in gaming. Is that, oh, what'd you do? I did this. I didn't do that. What happened? This happened. Oh, that's
Right.
crazy. Because like a lot of games like feign that choice where it's like, oh, pick this or that, but all kinds ends up to the same place.
Yeah.
And sometimes there'll be like 2 things that can happen. This game truly has like a lot of branching routes that playing that beginning part, kind of adding to what you're saying, is truly like replayable. Even though in my brain I'm like, oh man, I keep doing this Act 1 part. But every time I've played it, it's been different, or I'll try different things, and your character being different changes how you interact with the world, and it's very replayable.
Yeah, definitely. And I think to add on to your point of like that's something that you just kind of don't see anymore. Obviously, it's a vicious like development thing to ask for that kind of choice, but people make games for like 4+ years, and they could do this kind of stuff. They just don't. AAA companies obviously don't want to invest because they're operating more on the safe side of business. But then you see these quote unquote smaller studios. I'm sure Larian's pretty big, but
Technically indie though. And I think indie games typically are driven more by passion because they want to fill the void of what they're not getting.
and that's what I was gonna say is
Yeah.
you get these more passionate projects, and it really shows. It's just kind of crazy seeing the quality that can come out of smaller studios now. It really makes you, and I don't want to get too into this conversation obviously, but really makes you wonder what the hell AAA is doing half the time. So
I think AAA is just trying to maintain their trajectory, making money. So they make a lot of decisions that are safe, like you said.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while, when they do invest in a new IP or something that's more experimental, that's like they're deciding, okay, let's invest in something and see if we can branch off and make some more money, basically. And that's when we do get the more exciting titles from AAA. But those will either do really well and take off, and then they'll just become the same thing over and over again because it's making money, or won't do enough and they'll just kill it off like oh no, what's that Monster Hunter like game that I really like?
Dauntless.
Not Dauntless. Wild Hearts.
Wild Hearts, yeah.
Games like that where it did okay, but like it didn't do amazing, and they're like, oh, shut it off, or it'll fail. So yeah, AAA is once you get to a certain point where you're too big, you have to start thinking about your returns more. Whereas like smaller devs, they don't have anything to lose yet because they're just starting and they're trying to prove themselves. Larian, of course, has the background of making games already, but
Yeah.
they're still trying to fill that void of like, we're not getting the games that we want, we're gonna make it. So I think that's why you see so much attention to detail in this game. It's because they really wanted to make this game.
Right. Well, I mean, it definitely, I would say, has been appreciated, as it is still one of the most played games on Steam.
Yeah. I was just playing it like before we were shooting, and just to kind of refresh myself on things. And it's just like once I start playing it, like I'm just like in it. It's like such a, and I don't like really get immersed into games, but there's so many like little choices I'm making constantly that like I feel involved with the game less than or more than just run around like shooting stuff or hitting things, which is always fun as well. But like there's just so much personal input I'm putting into the game that's just super satisfying.
Oh, for sure. Well, and one thing too, with like the personal input thing is, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but like the turn-based combat also, especially in like a D&D setting, really kind of has very rewarding results because it's basically a strategy game in a way in that regard, because you take your time to think about your actions and stuff like that, and then when they succeed, it feels really good. And not to say that action games don't feel good too. Obviously, they feel good in a different way, but I do really like just kind of the slower combat style, just because I can sit there and think and like play around with things. Like you can choose to, just unga bunga it if you want to and hit someone, or you can go, I'm gonna pick up this dead body and throw it at this guy, and then this person's gonna, and you can kind of like plan it out. And if it all goes through, it feels really good. Or if something goes awry, it could be hilarious or frustrating, depending on how you look at it. But I really like that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I love the choice and how you want to go about combat. I mean, you can just like go in there and do what you typically do and just hit them. But like just before filming, when I was playing, I'm in Act 2 right now. I won't go into detail on what's going on there necessarily, but I saw some dudes up ahead, so I had 3 of my guys crouch down and sneak them behind stuff, and then I had one guy run into the center, and he casted. I really like using it because it's great for like kind of funneling people, but it's like an ability where I'm using Will, and he's got this ability where it makes a circle that just does damage while it spins, and if you stand in it, you take damage.
Okay.
And it's like on the ledge that they were on, so they have to either move back and not be able to attack me, or move forward through it and take damage. So I put that down. They all got pissed. They ran through it, took damage. It took like half of like 2 of the dudes' health. And then when they came down to attack Will, I had everyone just like stealth shoot them, and I killed them like almost instantly. And I was like, I basically set up. God damn, I can't talk. Set up an ambush,
Right.
That worked out like perfectly. So
yeah, and I'm sure it felt great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So it's kind of like when we were playing earlier this month. Pretty early on in the game, you go to that village that's been taken over by goblins and 3. Oh God, are they ogres or I can't remember, but one of them's smart and the other 2 are dumb in the building or whatever, and you can choose to like talk to them or fight them or whatever. And I believe Sarah had asked if we were okay with fighting them, and I didn't really care, and I don't think anyone did at the time. So we went in and fought them, and one thing that was nice about that is she had the ground thorns spell, and so like you take damage when you're walking through it or whatever. And it worked out really well because it basically filled out the entire room. So in order for them to get to us, they had to walk through it. And I love stuff like that because it's basically like we could sit back and shoot, arrows or spells at them or whatever to kind of like start whittling, if not kill them. And then the thorns can do the rest of the work for us, basically. I also, in my multiplayer with Chris, I play a cleric with command spells and stuff like that. So like telling people to sit, walk towards me, walk away from me, drop the weapon, etc. And in a situation like that with thorns, if they didn't want to walk through, I could just be like, come here. And then they'll just start walking in and kill themselves and stuff like that's just really cool because that I could just go, I'm gonna make a person with the stats to shoot this bow really good and never get close to anyone and just win, right? And I have played like that because sometimes I don't want to think too much. So
depending on the encounter, a lot of times I'll just go in and hit them. But like the game's been pretty steady with giving me things that aren't like too challenging, but challenging enough where I have to be present and think about exactly what I'm doing. That's why I start getting creative with like my ambushes in this area that I'm in right now. But yeah, sometimes I do just kind of like click and attack, depending on what I'm fighting. But yeah.
Well, sure, yeah, and the situation thing is another good one too, because like if you're aware of like your cliffs or like burnable barrels and stuff like that too, you can kind of play around with the environment. There was I don't know if you want to call it a boss, but a hard encounter I did. I won't say which one for the sake of spoilers, but there is a bridge that connects 2 points together, and the boss basically got on the bridge, and I just ran up to them and pushed them off, and I won the encounter just because I pushed them off the ledge.
I had a similar thing where I was getting attacked by like 4 or 5 people in Act 2, and the main dude who had the most health and was talking shit in the cutscene before we fought, right in the beginning, I forgot what it's called, but you have this ability where you basically do like a shockwave in every direction.
Okay.
And I did that, and it even launched my dudes. But he was near a cliff and everybody else wasn't. So it just launched everybody and he went flying off the cliff and died instantly.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I guess I don't have to fight you.
Right.
Because I was like, shit,
Now
this
you
guy's
don't
going
get
to
to
be rough.
loot them, obviously, is
Yeah.
the downside. But like,
But I also don't have to fuck around with him. So.
yeah, it's the safest bet, you know. So I don't know. I love that you can do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Larian already kind of showed that off with like the Divinity series, being able to play around with the environment, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And they've only just gotten better. I actually cannot wait to see whatever they do next.
It feels so much more natural in this game than the Divinity games. Because in the Divinity games, I thought it was like really neat that you can like do things with the environment, light things on fire, stuff like that. All these environmental things are happening that can like, you know, basically debuff people, stuff like that. In this game, it's also happening, but it feels less mechanic-y and like gamey looking. It just is more subtle, which I really appreciate. You can really tell they're like evolving.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What they already have been doing, but just in a way that's just getting better and better.
Yeah. And then just to kind of not take too long on my impressions here.
Well, you should let people also know and hold your thought. What you did this month? Did you play single player? You played multiplayer
I only
with
played
us?
multiplayer with you guys.
Okay,
So, and I just kind of followed the group
same.
just to. It's hard for me to play these kind of games in group settings sometimes because obviously you have 4 different minds, and everyone at some point is probably going to want to do something different, and that's not an inherently bad thing. But in order to make that smoother, I was just like, I'm just going to play, support to the decisions versus like when you play, I think with one other person, it's a little easier to kind of like just like talk with them.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a lot easier to play.
Yeah.
Like it was fun. I
Yeah.
was part of the 4 people that played multiplayer, and I liked it for the most part. But I do wish that there was maybe either, and maybe there's like a switch or something you can turn on or off, where it's like a central person can make the choices, not everybody. I like that you can play like that, and that's how you do play, but it'd also be nice to have somebody making the decisions and people can discuss, because there was this thing happening where people were talking to different people at different times, making all these different decisions that were all, happening simultaneously, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna let everybody do their thing. I'm here to just fight stuff, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Otherwise it was fun, but like when it came to like the story, I was like, I don't even know how you would keep up with this. So
Yeah, I mean, you just
I'll
have
just let
to
people do their thing.
and it's hard with 4 people for
Yeah.
sure. So, but yeah, if you're fine with the approach that obviously we decided to take, then it's a little easier. But I've played one-on-one with Chris, and it was really easy to just kind of like talk about every decision at that point, because you're not quote unquote competing. We weren't necessarily competing, but it's the only word I can think of.
I definitely was not competing. I opted out of the competition
Well, yeah,
to let other people.
to on who's doing what basically. So, and then by yourself, obviously you do everything the way you want to. So, but one of my favorite things about which is not something I usually compliment, but Western RPGs is usually the conversation systems are like one of the shining aspects of them, and this game is definitely that.
It's the new standard.
Yeah.
There's not a game that does it better now.
Well, and we've brought it up before, but in case this is the episode you're hearing us talk about this, like I love that you can talk to someone at point A in the game, do something that involves them here, and then way down the road they remember that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
Like you think about all the things BioWare did back in the day when they were still good, and then you think about like even Quantic Dream, what they do with and luckily with their games, there's less gameplay and more just decisions, so they get to think about their branching more. But Baldur's Gate 3 is a straight up like deep RPG with like RPG mechanics, a bunch of perks, skills, loot, all that stuff they had to think about. But it's also a super deep like decision making game that like is just really, really impressive. Like you can tell when they were making this game, when they started, they're like, we want like choice. Like it's gonna be a huge priority of what we're doing here. And it is amazing when I see like someone bring up something I did earlier that I almost forgot about. And the game is keeping track of all these things, and the dialogue is staying with it. And it's fucking crazy.
yeah, absolutely. It's just impressive, like you said, and I like like seeing it happen because like immediately I'm like, holy crap, they thought to do this.
Yeah.
Like it's really good.
Even adjacent to that, I multiple times in my playthrough, because I was curious on what would happen, was permanently changed physically.
Yeah.
It gave me stat differences too, but I was really impressed that like at some point I lost an eye and it was replaced with a glowing eye, and I was like, that's crazy. Now my guy just looks different now forever. Like that's like, you know, what Fable attempted back in the day, where your guy slowly morphs over time, but it
Right.
just happened from an event that I chose to do. And I've talked with a bunch of people, and no one I know personally decided to do what I did there, because they're like, why would you do that? I'm like, I want to see what happened.
Yeah, I watched Chris go through it as well.
And
It's gross.
and then later, I had my eye pulled out by somebody and replaced with a glass eye. So like,
Oh, okay, interesting.
well, I think that's what you're talking about, is the glass eye.
Oh,
part
I am.
on
I
camp.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the first one was the hag.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
yeah.
which gave me a glowing eye.
Right.
So I'm just getting my eyeballs pulled out here,
Which is
but
disgusting.
it was cool because my character just looks different now.
Yeah.
Like over time from these things that I chose to do, and like that's really kind of crazy to have those choices, or like choices with certain characters I won't talk about in detail, that eventually leads them to get like, you know, progression in the story, but also like gear and like armor or a weapon or something like that from somebody from their story. It's like it's really deep, and like I don't think I give it enough credit by saying it's deep, because like it's on a level that nobody else is at. So it's just like it's kind of revolutionary in terms of like, is any of this new? No, but how much they're doing is like nobody's done this much
Yeah.
yet. So it's really impressive.
Yeah. Well, and then, you know, all that on top of another one of my favorite things about the game is the just the phenomenal voice acting. in the
Oh, yeah.
game. I can listen to these people talk all day. It's great. Even characters I don't like, their voice actors are doing great. So, I don't know. The game, just to simplify it, so I can, you know, move on to. So
I will say we're at threat of just sitting here gushing about the
Yeah.
game and every detail of it.
is that as you play the game, you can tell devs cared a lot, and that was conveyed very well. So I love the game. It's great. It's something I think I could revisit all the time. I hope they can make an expansion. I know that the people that
They have to.
originally they made the deal with don't work for Hasbro anymore. So we'll see.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That'd be a shame if they can't continue working on it, like a Friday the 13th situation.
Yeah, that'd be dumb. And Hasbro would be foolish, but
That would be insane.
they also make foolish decisions.
This
all
is
the
like
time, so.
the most celebrated thing in recent time that Hasbro's had been attached to.
Especially
Like,
right after the Magic the Gathering thing they went through.
Yeah.
Anyways,
this is their only chance at like getting people like stoked about anything they're doing. So
yeah. And then as far as like what I've played, I've played a cleric, I've played a fighter, and I have played a what was I playing in our co-op game earlier this month? Oh, rogue, thief, whatever. So,
were you?
yeah, arcane trickster technically.
Oh,
but, yeah.
yeah. I was playing a berserker, so which I was actually really enjoying. It's very different than the rogue I've been playing on my single player.
Yeah, my favorite so far has been the cleric, but I think clerics are just kind of fun anyways in D&D. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So just to let everybody know, I played multiplayer with you guys. I played a berserker, so that was fun. I would like to continue that playthrough at some point. Though that was almost like for me an experimental run, just because of how everywhere everything was going with 4 people. I was just there to kind of level a berserker and see what it'd be like. So I really enjoyed it though. And then I've been playing the single player. In the past, before this month, I've been just stuck in Act 1, taking my time, savoring it. This is a game you don't want to rush. There's just so much to it. But this month I finally made it to Act 2, which I'm happy about, because I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get out of Act 1. Got into Act 2. I think all my characters are level 5, so I'm not very far, but at least I'm level 5. Because I was stuck at 3 in Act 1 for a long time. And yeah, the game is just fantastic for a lot of the reasons we already said. It's a super deep RPG. The amount of choice is insane. Act 1 is a game of its own. You can just sit there and play that for a long time. It's kind of amazing that it's just like a location that has like a lot of different places you can go, like underground, stuff like that. But it's just so densely packed with things to do, and not just like side quests. Like side quests are actually kind of minimal, like compared to a lot of other games that just send you off to keep you busy. But there's so much that can branch from them, and so much that you'll run into on those quests that eventually, you've just spent hours and hours and hours adventuring because you're talking to this person now who has just changed the course of the mission you're on in a way that, you didn't really expect. There's so much loot and things to go through. It's like almost daunting. Every time I go into a new room, I'm just holding Alt and looking at everything that I can even interact with. I stopped picking up everything because I'm like, I can't do this. There's too much stuff. I only have so much room in my backpack.
True.
Yeah, so it's great. Act 2 is different feeling, which I appreciate as well. It does feel like the story's starting to finally kind of move forward. I don't have any criticism of this game, but like none. But if I did have something that I would note that I'm like not just super positive and stoked about, it's that the story has been kind of slow rolling in Act 1 into Act 2. There's minor developments to the main story, so luckily like everything else is super compelling in the game. All the character stories, getting to know the people in your party, all the people you talk to, the world is just so full of life and stories that it's easy not to think about how like you're just trying to figure out this tadpole situation. I'm sure that will start rolling story wise from Act 2 into Act 3 for sure, but yeah, if there's anything I had to, say like this, if I was playing this game just for the story, like the main story, it wouldn't be super compelling. It's kind of open. It's kind of set up to be like, to set you on your journey in a sandbox way almost in the beginning, like, go figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, no real like observations that I would really change. Oh, maybe the multiplayer too. Like I said, like maybe I have an option where like, it's set up either like, Solasta, where one person makes the decision, but other people can vote on it. And in this, you can vote on it, but anybody can make the decision. Whoever gets there first takes over.
One talking.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be cool if there's just a way to turn that on and off, like a toggle.
I kind of wish, alternatively to that, maybe. The biggest complaint I have is that when people are talking to other NPCs, if you're not like super paying attention, it's easy to miss that people are talking to other people.
There's multiple times where I looked over to the left and I saw chat bubbles on two different characters at the same time. And I'm like, who do I click on?
And I know it would slow down the game even more if they made everyone focus on the same conversations, but I almost wish they would. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want them to get rid of the way they have it set up, because especially if you've played through the campaign already, it would make sense to just like go. Yeah. But everybody at the time that we played that multiplayer, I know I'm probably ahead of you now in the story.
Definitely.
But before that, you guys had all played more than I had. But we had a couple people making a lot of decisions and doing a lot of the dialogue that like I had no idea where it even went. And so like I almost put a blindfold on so I didn't see what was happening, because in single player I would have a chance to maybe pay more attention to what was actually happening. So like I said, I don't think it's a bad system, but I think it would be cool if you could toggle it so you had like one central person who had to make the actual decisions. But it would significantly slow down the game. But games have done it already and it works out fine. You just have to be in that mindset of knowing that's how it's going to work. Right. So
yeah. Well, and it being optional too would be good, I guess, as well.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I wouldn't want one or the other. I think it'd be cool if they just had a toggle. And I don't think it'd be too hard to do, but I also don't make games. So what do I know? What can I really add that's not just gushing about the game? It's a beautiful game. It's like really nice looking, especially for the type of game it is. When you zoom in, it looks really good. Voice acting's great. The characters are great. I was worried at first that they were kind of one dimensional, but they're turning into characters. So,
yeah, it's gonna be a weird example, but they remind me of like real people. Like when you meet someone, you have a very shallow impression of that person, and then as they get comfortable with you, they start opening up. And these characters do that. Some quicker than others. Like I'm terrible with names. The mage guy.
Gale.
Gale's pretty quick to just like talk to you about stuff.
Gale, I saw on TikTok somebody post that Gale wasn't even in their party. Gale was just at camp the whole time. That's how I have it too. But they came back to camp at one point. Gale was just like, "I'm in love with you," and they're just like, "What?" Like I've never even talked to you. So yeah,
Right.
apparently Gale is really just ready for love.
Yeah. Versus like, Shadowheart, for example, kind of has a wall you have to break through. So, um,
And Asterion is malleable.
yeah, a little confusing sometimes, but yeah.
Dude, I am literally like in my single player playthrough doing everything I can to not flirt with him. He's constantly trying like to flirt with me, and all my options are basically to flirt back or be an asshole. And I'm like, what do I do? Because I'm not trying to romance you, but like I have to either be like, yeah, shut up, or be like, oh, let me stare into your eyes. And I'm like, I already know where that's gonna go. Why do I have to romance Asterion? I'm not even opposed to it that much, but like I'm not. It just seems like really like, hey, do this. I'm like, I don't want to. But he's a fun character though.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, that I just you had brought that up, and and they do come off a little shallow at first, for sure.
Yeah, I think their performances are great and their
Yeah.
writing's good. But yeah, right in the beginning, and to be fair, you all just woke up on a ship that crashed,
Yeah,
and now you're like going like, I don't even know who the fuck you are, but we
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
similar thing that we're trying to figure out. So I guess we should maybe hang out. And sometimes you don't have to hang out with like, what's her name, Lazelle.
Lazel. Yeah.
She's not in my party. I left her in a cage, and when I came back, she was gone. So like, some of these people you don't even get to know, but they did all kind of start off very like, one note. I'm like, okay, he's kind of like the flirty vampire. He's the kind of jokey mage guy, kind of wisecracking a little bit. She's the closed off person that eventually will open up to me. And she has, but she's actually become, it's funny how many people don't like Shadowheart as a character. I'm not like super into her, but like, I think like she becomes a little more interesting as she starts
I
opening
agree
up.
with that.
So yeah, I think they're all
I don't
done
think
really
I
well.
hate any of them. That's interesting.
I've just heard a lot of people. I think a lot of
I
it
think
too
she's
is
useless in combat.
she's gotten pretty decent in my
That's good.
team at level 5, but mostly as a healer. She doesn't hit things very well, and everyone says that. So it's like, why is that a meme? Why haven't they patched that at the very least? Like, why can't
Well, I
she
mean,
hit
you
shit?
Can, you can change her.
I know.
Obviously.
It's just funny how she starts out and everyone's complaining about how she doesn't hit anything. She's like the XCOM 2 of fucking Baldur's Gate. I'll constantly when I was playing before we filmed or before we're filming, I had a 90% chance to hit somebody with her, and it was like critical miss. I'm like, how? I know it's 10%, but like, holy shit, come on, dude. It's wild, but yeah, I've kept her in my party because especially at level 5 now, I have like all these different heals and like group heals and stuff like that. So it's really nice. But yeah, if I get somebody more compelling than Will, I might switch him out. Although everybody hates Will as well, and so I'm like just like keeping him around to see if I can get something out of him.
I don't have a single save file where I've had Will, so
Yeah, nobody likes him.
I don't have an opinion on him. I haven't had him, so
Oh, you don't have him.
I don't have
Okay,
him.
yeah.
Which is kind of funny. I also
I don't have Lazelle,
have
so
barely had Karlak.
the game has choices, so anything can happen in your story. But I killed Karlak,
Oh.
and so I don't have her at all.
I pissed off like 2/3 of the party, so that's why I don't have any of them. So.
Yeah, I made a decision that she was never going to be in my party, and so somebody else was like, "Hey, I'll give you a reward if you do something," and I'm like, "Okay," and I did it. So now she's not an option. I have 2 people who are not an option for me, which is kind of weird. Although I'm hoping Lazelle later will become an option because I think she's still in my world.
Yeah, I have no idea how that
yeah.
works. So
Which is great. I love that you don't know, and and my experience is different. So
well, because I left her behind in my single player, but I didn't continue playing that one. My co-op, I brought her, and she's in my party. So
who do you have in your party then?
in my single player,
Yeah.
oh well, my single player one I barely played. So my co-op with Chris, the one I got the furthest in. I'm in
Okay.
Act 2
So
with him.
who do you have in that?
I have Shadowheart, I have Asterion, and I have Lazelle. Everyone else left.
Oh, so Chris is just playing those characters?
No, he you can go up to the the NPC that lets you change stats and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
Yep.
You can rent, you can buy characters through that too. They are not personalities, but you can just get characters that way. And so he grabbed a caster. So I don't know if he got a wizard or sorcerer, but so yeah, it's just generic sorcerer / whatever.
Why didn't he make a character?
He did, but instead of using one of the party members, he's playing a character, and then he has a rent a character, and then I'm playing my main character, and I'm using Lae'zel.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think we were running 2 clerics, a caster, and Lae'zel, but my cleric doesn't heal. That's why.
Yeah, if I had Lae'zel, I would probably switch her out with Will. But I don't, because I would like an Unga Bunga hit hard character, and I don't have one in my current comp. I have my guy who is a assassin who I really like playing. Then I have Shadowheart, who's her default class that everybody hates, but I'm just seeing where it goes. I have Will, who's a warlock. He's getting kind of interesting finally. I just got it's really basic, but I got a fireball. I think it's fireball 2 or 3. I don't remember, but you can hit people directly, but also does like a huge AoE damage around where it hits. And so I'm like, finally, you got something that's a little good for fighting things, because he has like a lot of really interesting buffs. He has a flame shield or flame armor that people take damage if they hit him. So I would just like use the flame armor, send him in, and then they start hitting him and they start taking damage. I'm like, okay, now you're useful. But now that I got some, moves that can hit people in ways that I couldn't with other characters, he's becoming useful.
See, Fireball's kind of scary in D&D, so
it's very scary in this game, because it's like a nuke. It just goes boom, and everything lights on fire. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, even when we were playing Celasta, right before we stopped, I had unlocked Fireball, and it was huge.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's funny because in a lot of things it's portrayed as like you shoot a fireball and it hits just directly, but in this it's like you're launching a fireball and it blows up. Yeah. So yeah, I got Will, and then I got Asterion, and I have Asterion as what is it? It's that trickster thing.
Arcane Trickster.
Yeah, I think that's what he starts as. I don't remember, but I don't remember. But I have him set up for more like ranged combat. Mm-hmm. I have sharpshooter and other things on him, so. Because I already have an assassin, I'm like, I don't want 2 dudes running around here like stabby. I need somebody to do something else. So I would maybe replace Asterion as well if I got somebody good enough. But as of right now, I think my team comp is finally coming into something worth having. So yeah, but it's been fun. Yeah, what else really? Music's good, although Down by the River is just like constant. I was like in the middle of combat and it's just playing this crazy epic music, and it just goes bum, 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 bum.
I can't remember what that's called when you keep, because it happens in Final Fantasy 14 all the time, where you start using the same thing, but in very, very different songs and stuff like that. I don't know what the word is, but
yeah, I don't mind in a lot of games or movies or whatever where you have like this constant theme, like a main theme that gets kind of brought back to every once in a while, but this game really uses it a lot, and I don't mind it because it's not bad sounding, but it's like I'm being like brainwashed almost because I'm just hearing it over and over and over again.
Just Down by the
it's
river.
Like if it's yeah, exactly. It's like if I was like a sleeper cell and like the CIA is trying to activate me or something, so they just keep going like down by the river. I'm like, what? And like down by the river. I'm like, okay, what about down by the river? Come on, do your thing.
Instructions unclear.
Yeah. But yeah, the music's good. Voice acting's great. Performance is really good. Game's beautiful. And yeah, it's really neat overall. I think that's all I have to say. Because otherwise I'm just going to take every little piece of the game and go, this is great, this is great, this is great. And I don't have any complaints about it. So
yeah. And it's a big game, so there's a lot that you can like point at and go, I like that, I like that, I like that.
And I need to get to Act 3 because that's where I hear... That's the only place I hear criticism about the game is people are like, there's bugs there, which... I don't know. We'll see. And some people say it feels like rushed or something. So we'll also see. But I'm playing it so late in the game, too, that they've patched it and whatever problems they might have had maybe early on.
Right.
Because, I played this game when it first came out in early release like years ago. And that was unfinished, understandably.
Absolutely.
But so maybe when this did finally release, there were some things in Act 3 people noticed that I hope are probably gone by now, but we'll see. So
Yeah.
But definitely want to beat it. But this is a game that this is a game I can't play all the time because I don't have the time to play it all the time. This is not a game I want to hop into for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that part for sure.
I need to have at least like 3 hours to put into the game to be able to enjoy it because there's so many decisions to be made and so many things to explore that it's a hard game for me to have the time to play, but when I do, I really fucking enjoy it. It's like, honestly, I think it's probably one of the best, if not the best, games in the genre at this point, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool to in modern era, modern time, see a game from a genre that used to be popular just do it so well. Now it's not trying to emulate other things; it just has taken what's worked and improved on almost all of it. So
Yeah.
is a true good example of a successor to a franchise that is already beloved by a smaller group of people. Now more people are into it. So
Yeah, really the only big difference between this and the ones before it is like I think party size used to be 6 and now it's 4.
oh shit, I don't know if I can manage 6 people, but
Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 I believe is 6-player. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I'm pretty sure it's 6.
It's a
and
big party.
you could customize all of them.
Jesus. Yeah, that's pretty
Go
crazy.
back and try it sometime. Those games are still fun. They're
think-
just dated.
Didn't they remaster them?
They did both. And Icewind Dale.
Huh. I don't have time for it right now, but that does sound interesting
Yeah.
to go back and play those. Just like I watched a video on the original Diablo from way back in the day when they were describing it, and I'm like, that game was fucking ambitious for the time.
I played that on PlayStation 1.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I played it too. And
Sierra did the publishing.
I was too young to appreciate it back then. I was like, fuck this. I hate this. But, now I look back and I'm like, man, games are really like, that's when the people are really trying to dream of like, how can we really offer experiences in gaming that offer more depth than just hitting things or shooting things. And we're still just kind of chasing those standards. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent. Game's great.
Yes.
Love it. Got anything else you want to say on it?
Well, I could, but we're
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to like just narrow this down, because otherwise it's just gonna keep talking. It's gonna be like a 3-hour taste cast on why Baldur's Gate 3 is great. Let's jump into recommendations. I was thinking about this earlier. I want to loosely recommend this to everybody. Even if you're not into this genre, I think you should give it a try, because you might actually be in the genre you didn't even know it.
I would actually, to support that, say the amount of people I saw who instantly wrote the game off and then tried it and then ended up falling in love with it I saw online, I think backs that up a lot. I think you would just have to hate turn-based.
Yeah, and my TikTok was like inundated with people who tried it out for the first time. We're like, oh, I'm gonna check this out. And I was like, yeah, you should check it out. Like, I think you might like it. And they did, and a lot of them came back saying that they do really like it. Some people were like, I wasn't really into the combat, but they didn't have anything negative to say about the game. They just recognized it wasn't a game type for them. But at the very least, there's all these other people who were hesitant to play a game in the genre because it doesn't really look appealing to them, and just the sheer depth of the game changed their mind. So that's really huge for any genre of games. And so
definitely.
that this game has that quality to it is why I would recommend it to pretty much everybody. Just check it out, see if you like it. If you know somebody who has it, play multiplayer with them or something. See if you like it. Because if there is a game that's going to get you into this genre, it's this one. Don't waste your time with other ones in the genre. They're all great. There's a bunch of great ones, but this is the one that I think could get you into the genre if you're not into it. So that's my loose recommendation. And then my hard recommendation is if you're into CRPGs, any turn-based style RPG, any Western RPG, if you miss the glory days of BioWare, you have to play this because they're doing what BioWare should be doing now, and they're not. If you like story-heavy games, I would play this. If you like character-focused games, I would play this. If you like deep RPGs with leveling and builds and loot and stuff like that, I would play this game. If you're into games where you get to explore every nook and cranny, you have to play this game. Honestly, I'm just gonna make this easy. My loose recommendation stands, but if you're just straight up not into this kind of genre, you should still check it out if you haven't. But I'll just exclude you from my recommendations, I guess. my hard recommendations. I don't think you have to play this game because you probably won't be into it, but you could be. So check it out. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. There's more things I would recommend this to than not, or more people I would. So, anything more narrowed down? Anything I missed?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you're like looking for a good Dungeons and Dragons game, like this is the one.
Yeah.
Like you have to play it. So I think you'll really appreciate it too because they really utilize the brand. I'm constantly running into things and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I never thought I'd see this in a game, or oh, that's interesting the way they decided to do that. So it's really cool. And I'm not even like a super big D&D nerd, although I do like D&D from when I was younger, I guess. But I know enough to see things and go like, oh shit, that's really cool. So I think you'll appreciate it. But I feel like anybody who's into D&D probably already played this game or is playing this game. So
For sure.
yeah.
But yeah, otherwise my recommendation was going to be try it unless you don't like turn-based. Like you just cannot handle turn-based.
Yeah.
But if you think you can push through that, I mean, you should definitely try it. The game, it takes a little bit, so you got to give it some time. But it's just a deep experience. So
I saw a lot of people too, like kind of feeling bad that they weren't into turn-based games, and so they're like, oh, everybody's talking about the game, and I can't really get into it. And it's like that's fine. Like if anything, like watch a YouTube video or something if you really want to see what all the fuss is about, or see the story if you're interested. But like there's people out there that I wouldn't recommend Tekken 8 to because they just straight up are not into fighting games. And that's fine. So, but I do get the almost like FOMO of like a game is so popular and I can't get into it. Like I get that, but
I was gonna say the FOMO aspect is understandable, but also like you don't have to be part of the large group of either. Either you can experience it other ways if you really want to, or you can just recognize it's not for you, which is fine. I do that a lot on this channel. Like there's a lot of stuff we play that I play and I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's just not for me. So
yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, let's grade it. This is tough for me because I haven't finished the game, but from what I've played so far, I would give the strongest A you can give. I'm saving that A+ for when I beat it. I do feel like I could give this an A+ because it's just like that good, but I don't know. Well, I guess this is based off my impressions. I'll just give an A. I feel good and comfortable with an A. I think it's fantastic, top marks in terms of like the genre, and it really is embarrassing for AAA when I look at this game and look at what AAA is doing. It's just such a high quality game and so obviously passionately made. But yeah, I'll save that A+ for when I play it further and just really know I love it. But other than that, it's a fantastic game and easy A. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like one of the easiest A's of my life, man.
Yep.
Like
I couldn't imagine giving it A-. Like it's not.
Yeah, I can't either. I didn't even have to think about it. So
yeah, I feel like if the characters grow even more on me and the story gets like really good, that A+ is just like obvious. Because gameplay wise, it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before on the channel, but the reason I even was interested in owning a computer in the first place was because of Baldur's Gate 2. So like the series already kind of resonates a little bit with me anyways. So yeah, it's crazy. I had played PC games before that, but that game made me want to have a PC. So
What's that MMO we had when we were younger?
Dark Age of Camelot.
Yeah. Oh man,
I will never forget having to go buy a 4 megabyte graphics card to play that game.
That's how dated we are.
That's how old we are. So.
Yeah, I remember playing. Not that we need to reminisce on all the games we used to play, but I remember playing the shit out of like Quake 2, Quake 3 back then too. So anyway, yeah, I get it. It resonates because that was an early gaming experience for you that was pivotal for you. So I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is awesome. Everybody knows that was your game of the year. It would have been on my list if I had played it further, but now I'm doing it now. So No and no. Okay. So yeah, let's know in the comments. What do you guys think of Baldur's Gate 3? Have you played it? Have you beaten it? Please no spoilers. And then are you playing it now? Are you kind of where I'm at, like right in the middle, still playing through? And what are you thinking of about it? What's some of your favorite things about the game? Do you have any criticisms of it? Obviously, be fair about it. Don't just be like, the game sucks. But
Yeah, it's
you know, if
boring.
there's, yeah, I hate that shit. Currently, with the whole like Silent Hill. Short message, the conversation has devolved to game sucks or the game is awesome. You guys just aren't ready for the new generation of Silent Hill. I'm like, ooh, both those conversations are really stupid. So anyway, if you have any like legit criticism of the game, I'd be really curious to hear them, because
Definitely.
you hear mostly positive about this game. So, you know, there's got to be some stuff people don't like about it. And yeah, just gush about Baldur's Gate 3. What do you think of it? Let us know in the comments below. I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. Thank you for joining me, Chevy. Thank you for joining us. And stay tuned. We have a State of Play coming up soon.
Yep.
We've just been filming nonstop. We took like a longer break than normal because of like my vacation and all sorts of stuff. And then we've just been fucking making content. I'm just like, holy shit.
But you could see some of that on Tasty Flicks.
Yeah, check it out on Tasty Flicks. We've been doing reviews over there, and my TikToks. I've been doing a shitload of TikToks over on TikTok, and then all the videos we're doing here. So plenty of stuff we've been making, and we got State of Play coming up very soon, which I think is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I can't play until I beat Final Fantasy VII, but we're going to watch it anyway, so stay tuned for that. Till then, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.